Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Market Podcast. It is Thursday, December 4th, 2025. U.S. stock market is going to close in 7.5 minutes from right now. So we're just getting down to that final little bit in the market. It's kind of funny. I can't remember the last time. I know it's happened, but I can't remember the last time I saw the indexes go back and forth to positive and negative territory as many times as what I've seen it today. Hang on a second. I'm going to split these screens. I need to split those screens real quick so that I can make all this fit where I want it to. There we go. Okay, sorry, that's going to be a little bit better for the recording. For those, I don't have anybody on live, but that'll be definitely better for the people that are going to watch this recording. Okay, so here's where we're at right now with a little over 5 minutes left, 6.5 minutes left. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average down, not a lot. This is a pretty small sell-off. If it holds in this area, it's 13/100%. Hardly a measurable move at all in the big picture. You got the S&P down 0.02%, and it has gone back and forth from positive to negative to positive to negative to positive to negative. Right now, with a little over 5 minutes left, we've got the NASDAQ up about the same amount percentage-wise that the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down. But again, it has been so back and forth. I took a screenshot and put it on Discord earlier today of the Dow Jones when the markets had only been open for maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And so it was basically, I want to say it was probably this part of the screen right about here. And here's about where break even is for the day, I believe. I might be off on that a little bit, but we started out looking like it was going to be another good solid day. Went negative real fast, came back into positive territory, dropped negative, went positive, dropped negative. Then it kind of stayed negative for a little while, poked its head back up above positive again, and then it's been down pretty much the rest of the day. With 5 minutes left, who knows what might happen. If you look at I'm going to show you something different here in a couple seconds. If we look at a chart of the Dow, there's the S&P, but if we look at a chart of the Dow and just look at this last OHLC bar here on the right, it's not real big, but the range, the very bottom to the very top, that's small compared to a day like that one, compared to a day like that one, compared to a day like that one, compared to pretty much all of these days right here. You got 5 days right there, 4 days right there, that the range from top to bottom was big. In fact, this might be one of the smallest ranges from top to bottom that I've seen in quite some time. A fairly, I would say even a fairly long time in the Dow. It's been a while since it's had this tight a range. It's just what's odd to me, or a little bit, made it feel a little bit worse, is that, the number of times it's gone from positive to negative to positive to negative. It's a lot of times. So that's been kind of the oddity of today, if you want to, for lack of anything better to call it. I think the NASDAQ probably, with just a few minutes left here, probably has a very similar looking one-day picture. Not quite exactly the same. And the NASDAQ has maybe spent that blue line that I have drawn on there is not the break-even point, but the NASDAQ has probably spent a little bit more time in break-even territory. I think with the NASDAQ, probably right about there is break-even, or pretty close to it. So again, it's been above and below a number of times today, but same as with the Dow Jones, the range from top to bottom has really not been that big. In fact, on the NASDAQ, it looks even smaller on the NASDAQ. And it looks like right now, I'll take you into the close today for sure on this recording. A little bit positive, not a lot, a little bit. It'll be really interesting with just under 3 minutes left to see whether or not this thing can hold in positive territory. Now, on a positive note, Applied Digital having a great day, up 6.5% today. Palantir up 1% right now. It's been up as high as a couple percent today. Um, Nvidia up 2% today. Marvell, after a really good day yesterday, giving some of it back, but not in any way that I would be stressed about. And Marvell has spent time in positive territory today. You can see that early in the day, Marvell touched a new all-time high. It opened a little bit low. It touched an all-time high, and then it's down towards the lower end of where it's been trading today, but not right at the absolute bottom. So it's not going to be too much damage. And I think it's going to be on relatively light volume when all is said and done. I don't think this is going to be a heavy volume day. There's not a lot of news driving things today. And I think the actual story is without much news to drive things, everyone is just kind of in this wait and see mode with the this sort of wait and see mode with the FOMC meeting next week. In fact, that was one of the stories this morning on Fox Business News, is the talk about just, I think earlier today this was 87. So it's shifting a little bit, not a lot. It's still staying very strong. The sentiment is staying very strong on the side of we're probably getting a rate cut next week. We'll see. There's no guarantee, but this proves to be right far more often than it's wrong. I think there is some insider information that is leaked that helps come up with this data right here. So probably we get a rate cut next week. There's going to be a lot of people kind of on pins and needles as to what the Fed says. Jerome Powell knows his days are over. He knows they're limited. He is going to have, after next week, he's going to have one, two, three more meetings where he's in charge after next week. So for the rest of next year, all the way to here, you're going to have a new Fed chair. It's going to be hard to know whether June and July, what one Fed chair can do in June and July, are going to be enough to affect midterm elections. That's why Trump, I think, wants so bad to get Powell out of there sooner than later, is he wants to give a new Fed chair time to cut rates, bring interest rates down, hopefully not at the expense of spurring on inflation, and gets consumers some relief so that when the time comes to vote for the midterms next year, right close to this time, a little less than a year now, but when that time comes, you know, there's the closing bell. You know, he wants very badly to have had a Fed in there that could possibly make a difference. May not make a difference, but he wants to at least give him a chance. There you have the closing bell. These will shift and move a little bit for the next few minutes. It looks like everything from where I started a little less than 10 minutes ago. Dow rallied up a little bit. It was down 60 something. Now it's only down 30 something. S&P was almost flat. It's up a little bit. NASDAQ went from being up about 30 to up about 50. So at the end of the day, kind of the opposite of what I've been, chirping about the last few days, where usually, not always, but usually at the very end of the day, there is a little bit more of a tendency. It's not a guarantee. It's not all the time. It's like, I think I said, it's like a 65-35 thing, or 60-40, somewhere in there. But it's a little more common to see right at the very end of the day, a little tail off right in that last few minutes instead of a spike up. We got the opposite today, and I'm glad for that. It's a good spot to finish. Dow gave up a little bit today, but not real bad. S&P and NASDAQ gaining a little bit. So I haven't looked. I'm going to take a peek. This will be on another screen, but I'll tell you real quickly. Who is it that dragged the Dow the most today? 3M. 3M was the biggest percentage loser in the Dow. Home Depot next, and UNH after that. They're all between 1.75% and 2.25% to the downside. It looks like it's a pretty even split of Dow companies that were positive and negative. Maybe a couple more that were negative. Yeah, 13 Dow companies were in the green at the close. That means 17 of them were in the red. But it's a couple of heavyweights in Home Depot, UNH, Amgen. They were all down, and the other big heavyweights, speaking primarily Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, They were up, but not up a whole lot. So not enough to get the Dow into positive territory today, but still not a bad day. I think we're going to get more of this tomorrow and Monday, maybe on Tuesday. There could be breaking news on any company or anything that could sort of push things up or push things down. Um, we are getting the PCE report come out tomorrow morning. It's a lagging report because it's a delayed report because it's you know, should have, this is information we should have had previously, but did not. I want that on the, I wonder why that's not showing me the weekly calendar there like I wanted it to. That's okay. Um, anyway, it's, there we go. Let me get the weekly calendar in there. I think the PCE report is the only thing that we've got to be mindful of, or the primary thing we have to be mindful of in terms of a report that could move the markets one direction or the other. But don't forget, it's old data. It's for the month of September, and you're going to have some weird numbers come out when we get a reading for October where the government was shut down for the entirety of the month and then into November. Our next couple of PCE reports and CPI and PPI reports are going to be really tough to manage because you're going to see some numbers that I think are going to be out of whack. And there's going to be this tendency by plenty of people to say, oh, the sky is falling, or oh, this is the greatest news ever, when in reality, it's going to be information that's skewed dramatically by the fact that we had a government shutdown and it has a big impact on that. So I'm not going to get too hung up on what happens, but people are going to watch it. People are going to pay attention to it. If this PCE number came in really high, you're going to see a little bit of panic and maybe a little sell off tomorrow. But more eyes are going to be focused on what the Fed does next week on Wednesday, which is the likelihood is that rate cut. I think that's and just not having anything else to really drive the market. I think that's why you saw it waffle back and forth so much and have such tiny gains in the S&P and the NASDAQ with some, tiny losses in the Dow. So our trades by and large looking really good. Our Nvidia trade improved today. Um, our Amazon trade was down a little bit today. Amazon's had a couple of rough days. This one's a little bit difficult for me to figure out. This is a good time of year for Amazon. I'm not sure why the markets have been selling off Amazon lately. This is the second day in a row, and after it participated in the rebound with everybody else, it's turning back around really quickly with yesterday and today's movement. I know it's tied in a little bit to the Microsoft story about the AI, the money being spent on AI, maybe not generating the products and the sales and the returns that companies want. But it's odd to me that Amazon, number one, a little odd that they took this big a hit after a really good earnings and a giant jump up. I know this was caught up in the euphoria of everything that happened in the market. This seemed more like what should have been happening, the recovery. These last couple of days, a little bit surprising to me on Amazon. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper and find out tonight so I can talk more intelligently about it tomorrow, what's going on with Amazon. But otherwise, looking good. Like I said, Nvidia improved a little bit today. Palantir looking better today. AMD gave up a little bit today. Again, that one a tiny bit odd to me because you had, Nvidia having a good strong day, Palantir having a good strong day, um, APLD, some other tech stocks having a really good day, but AMD down a little bit today. So I'm not sure what the cause of that was. It's taken our trade ever so slightly into the negative, but our SPY trade is improved as of today's trading, not by a lot, but improved a little bit. And our like I said, our Nvidia trade definitely improved a little bit today. So SPY, Nvidia, and Palantir all looking better. AMD and Amazon not, but these are longer term trades. So I'm just in the big picture, I am just not worried about them in the slightest. Remember just a week and a half ago, this was down 35, 40, almost 50%. Look how far that's come back. Like I said, Nvidia back a little bit today, but Amazon and AMD suffering a little bit today. Still hard to argue with this for a year-to-date return. So there you are. All right, I'm going to wrap up right there. I'll watch those PCE numbers tomorrow morning. I'll be on Discord for those of you that can be on there and participate. That'd be great. And then we'll do a wrap up podcast towards the market close tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.